Welcome, everyone. My name is Jeff St. Laurent, and I'm super excited today because, as you can see, I have an awesome guest. I help coaches transition to a full-time business. This is one of them. We're going to go through the details today. But before we get started, if you want to check out the great resources I have to help you on your full-time journey, check out my website, sellingcoaching.com. I've got a great resource library of videos, over 400 videos in my university. And if you want to start right off on the homepage, you can enter your name and email. Not only will it allow you to become a part of my community, but also give you a great resource as well, which is launching your full-time coaching business, the first 3 vital steps. With that being said, I'm so excited to have my great mentor coaching client, Renee Washington. Renee, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
So Renee had just gone over a big cross-country move from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Yes.
And you're settled in. So excited to have you here. Let's just jump right in. Let's rewind like over a year, just about a year and a half ago, mid 2024. You left or had recently left your broadcasting media career and went through coaching school and wanted to start your full-time coaching business. Had a couple clients. Talk to everyone, just people get a picture of kind of like just the detail, a little bit of your story, where you were at, what brought you into this space, and when you came to me, where you were at, so people get a feel for you and where you've come from.
Okay, sure. I had worked in broadcast journalism for 25 years. The majority of those years were in leadership roles, and I've lived pretty much all over the country. And when you and I met, I was living in LA at the time. And I was about maybe almost a year removed from resigning from my previous position. And I knew that I wanted to be an executive coach because I experienced executive coaching as a leader. And it really did make a big difference when it came to creating some clarity in my life about my values and my priorities and what I wanted my life to look like in the next 5 years or so. I went through the IPEC coach training program, and that's how I was introduced to you. And I liked your style. I liked the information that you shared. And at the time when I was launching the business, I really wasn't sure what to do, just to be quite honest. I had gotten the certification as a coach, but now what? How do I get clients? How do I engage with people? How do I structure outreach? How do I structure my business? And I just was quite honest, clueless. And I remember telling you that in my previous career, there were steps, and it was pretty clear of what you needed to do in order to advance in your career. As a coach, I didn't know the steps. And one of the things that you said to me that was a game changer is you create the steps. And that's what you and I have been working on for the last year and a half, creating the steps and getting me to the point where I am now, where not only do I have individual one-on-one clients, but I also have corporate clients as well. And I've been expanding the business beyond just coaching and launching workshop facilitation and taking on some group coaching as well for executives.
Yeah. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Renee, because when you told me about your career in media and broadcasting, you were like, you worked your way up, if you will, to the top, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, I found out the steps and I did them. Mm-hmm. As I remember, as I was listening to that, I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, okay, we're working with someone who when they see a vision, they execute and they go after it. Mm-hmm. And I remember that was a game-changing moment for you. It was like, well, entrepreneurship, I mean, there are steps that are out there, but we create the steps. Mm-hmm. And that's the advantage, but it can be the hard part. And once we started to outline that for you, it's like, you just took off. You really did. And it's a testament to who you are as a person, your work ethic, but also it's just because you could do it in one area doesn't mean it's easy to do in another area, but you really translate a lot of your skill sets and expertise into this space. Can you talk a little bit about it? So now, as we started to formulate those steps, we get an idea of, your message, who you're going after. You had a few clients here and there, but like you said, you were struggling to convert leads. You didn't know exactly what to do, which I would say pretty much summarizes, myself included, when I started, every coach out there for the most part. Talk about kind of some of that initial work in terms of what were some of the steps, what were some of the behind the scenes stuff that we were doing on a week to week basis that started to formulate this path for you.
It was really helping me get out of my head. Let's just start there. I have a tendency to overthink things. I also have a tendency to want things to be perfect. And you helped me in being able to just go with the flow to some extent. I wasn't used to going with the flow. I was used to be very organized, very I was rigid, to be quite honest. And I was the person who always colored inside the lines. And when it comes to building a business, you have to be comfortable with coloring outside the lines. You have to be comfortable with learning from your missteps. And that is something that you helped me to do. So we'd get on our calls. I would talk to you about a discovery call or introductory call that I would have. And at the end of the call, the person decided that they didn't want to sign up with the coaching. And you would ask me, almost word for word, what did you say? And when the person said, oh, I need to think about it, then what did you say? And you gave me ideas and suggestions about, in those calls, I should be coaching. I don't know if you remember this, but I had a whole presentation that I had created that I was sharing on these calls. It was like a PowerPoint. And you were like, get rid of the PowerPoint and just coach.
It's true.
Another aha moment for me that these calls, I'm coaching. And if you're going to sell coaching, you have to let people know and kind of give them like a taste test of what they're going to get. And I wasn't doing any of that. I was just walking people basically through my background, why I became a coach, my certifications, as well as other qualifications that made me an ideal choice for a coach, and jumping into the different packages that I offered. I had way too many packages, and you helped me streamline that as well. The different packages that I offer, and here's what you can expect in coaching, but I wasn't coaching.
Yeah. It was like literally a sales pitch for your coaching. But see, that's the thing though. It's like, but that's what you knew. Mm-hmm. So it's not wrong, but that's what a lot of people do, is like whatever space they've come from, whatever that is, like they just do what they know or what they think.
Yes.
And it may or may, it doesn't mean that necessarily wouldn't work, but you weren't having any luck with that. And that can be the hardest thing too, is like from my end, it's like, wow, this is a great presentation. Like, can we just toss this, ditch the whole thing? But that's a testament to you as a person, is like, you were open. You're willing to say, like you said just right now, like I was coloring the lines, like I was rigid, and it's that rigidity and stuff can be helpful in some areas. Yet with what I found with entrepreneurship, just like you're saying, is it's like, there's not even lines to color in. It's like, we've got to kind of set our own lines and figure out where those lines are.
Exactly.
So you were very open and you adapted. Like, that's the thing is you adapted quickly. Like when I made suggestions, you're like, okay. And you ditched it. It wasn't like trying to hold on or like, okay, it's done. Now, Jeff, tell me what to do.
Exactly. I think that you also have to be open to feedback and being willing to adapt quickly. The name of my business is Resilience Wins Executive Coaching and Consulting. And part of resilience is being able to quickly recover from setbacks and adapt quickly. And that's a skill set and a characteristic that I've had with me in my entire life. So I just had to lean into that in this space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so now, all right, we've got through some systems and structures, and, I was starting to analyze, if you will, like, okay, what is Renee doing already? Whether it's working or not working. And a lot of it, you had some results, but not the results that you wanted or would expect. So now we've analyzed it, we've revamped things, and now you're doing that work. Now we started looking into, okay, so how do we get exposure to more people, doing events, hosting events of your own, the marketing aspect of it. And this is where I was just like, what I love about working with you is every week. Some of my best clients, people like yourself, they always come to the call and it was like, okay, here's what I got for you today. And I could tell like you have discipline and you're doing work and you're coming to the call with like, okay, here are all my questions. Here are all
Mhm.
the calls, the people I'm talking to, what's working well, what can I improve on? Why didn't this person hire me?
Mhm.
So let's start to talk a little bit about, this is good for people to hear this, is okay, so what are you doing now on a day-to-day basis? Like setting up events, webinars, the calls. Talk about some of the pieces that you feel are important.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It's really about the exposure. And one of the most successful avenues for me to reach clients, potential clients, and to also give people an idea of what it might be like to work with me has been the newsletter. And when I first started the newsletter, I took some advice that you had shared and just start off with your family and friends. And so I went through every single contact in my old Hotmail account, my Gmail account, as well as some colleagues from the media industry. And I just started blasting everyone with the newsletter. And I started off with about 200, well, actually, probably about 180 to 200 contacts. And I started the newsletter in March 2024. And I have consistently published the newsletter every single Sunday for over a year now. I've not missed one Sunday.
High five.
And the consistency and the discipline is paying off. Just real quick, I have a younger relative who is in her 30s, and I recently saw her, and she said to me that the newsletters really resonate with her, that they help her, and she highlighted the piece about consistency and discipline. She said, a lot of people start stuff, but then they never see it through, or they eventually stop doing it and stop showing up. But you've been really consistent with this newsletter and it has paid off. So the newsletter has grown from about 180 to 200 people to nearly 1,000 people in a
Wow.
year.
That's
And
so good. I didn't even know that. That's so awesome, Renee.
yeah, yeah,
Keep going,
and
keep going.
it does create kind of like a relationship. I have clients now who have told me that it was the newsletter that led them to me, and the fact that um, sometimes it took time. They had to read multiple newsletters. It wasn't necessarily maybe, oh, this one newsletter really resonated with me, so I reached out to you right away. With most of them, they've been reading the newsletter for months, and then finally they reach out. And one of the things about the newsletters, I really do try to speak to the pain points and the challenges and the hurdles that my ideal audience is facing. And so they feel like they're reading something that maybe they even wrote themselves about how they're feeling and what they're going through. And that has been a huge success for me. I've also done some webinars, and given that I have a media background, that was the first area that I focused on. I've done webinars around how to navigate layoffs. Thousands of people have lost their jobs. Journalists have lost their jobs over the last 3, 4, even 5 years. And so I really lean into how to help people navigate such an uncertain time and help them focus on what's within their control and what's not, and what they can influence as well. And I've also been doing some more leadership workshops around and webinars around navigating difficult conversations. I just posted something yesterday on Instagram about document everything. This is something that can help you protect yourself. And this is something that also can showcase and exhibit professional maturity. So I'm finding a lot of success with the newsletters and the webinars, and now branching out into doing some social media posts as well.
Yeah. So it's really the fundamentals of our
Mhm,
business. Like anyone I ever work with or have worked with, the
mhm,
first thing I'll always do is set up your weekly email that goes out every week.
mhm, mhm,
And like the discipline, like just like you, I know you're fit as well. You work out all the time, you're
mhm,
consistent there,
mhm.
right? So it's just like you have your certain disciplines and there are certain things that you do. whether you
Mhm.
like them or not.
Mhm.
And you find ways to like them. But after a while, like you said, you're starting to see the growth of your community and the
Mhm.
consistency and how that starts to pay off over time.
Mhm.
And the more you do this, like now after a year and a half of doing that, in 2 years or 3 years, 5 years, you're going to see the longevity of those things. And people
Absolutely.
keep going.
And I was going to add that one thing about the newsletter and creating your email list, that's yours. So if social media went away tomorrow, you still have your email list. You still have a way to connect with people and to continue to do outreach. I also put a message in my email and tell
Mhm.
people that if you know someone that this may apply to, share it. So again, that's another way of creating exposure by that call to action and telling people share this email with people that you know would benefit from reading this.
Talk about where your clients have come from, right? The
Mhm.
evolution, right? Of just, you had, I forget how many clients, but you had a few clients when we started working.
Mhm.
But I remember I went through our notes prior to this, like you said, like you were just struggling converting your leads.
Mhm. Mhm.
But then as we started, to start to work and refine that process, you
Mhm.
started getting business.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. So
Talk about like that evolution.
the majority of my clients came from the media industry.
Mhm.
And I started working with people around just navigating their careers, working with leaders, helping them cultivate some of the leadership skills that they wanted to focus on, whether it be communication, collaboration, or just believing that you belong in the room. That's where I
Yeah.
usually start with a lot of the leaders. From there, it really became word of mouth. So that helps too when clients work with you and they experience results or gain a solution or some sort of transformation, then they talk to people about the experience and what they've had. And it began to branch out even more to people in different areas. I work with dentists through a corporate contract that I have with a dental company. I work with people in athletics, again, word of mouth. And the webinars, pretty much every time I do a webinar, I usually walk away with at least one client.
Hmm.
So I would say where they're coming from now is really word of mouth, the webinars, and making sure that I am connecting with people. Also, for me, in person is very important. So I have coffee dates with people, and I always tell people do an audit of your LinkedIn, do an audit of your email list. And I look through those and find people that I would want to connect with because they're in rooms that I want to get into. And I will set up a coffee meeting or I will set up a virtual meeting and share with people what I'm working on, what it is that I hope to do next, who my ideal client is. And that usually also results in a lead. I don't mind sharing that later today. I have a call with the leader of human resources at a company where I coach two people. And those individuals found me on their own, but I said, I need to get in touch with that chief people officer and let her know the what I've been doing and the work that I've been doing with the people on her team and propose an opportunity to work with even more people on her team.
Yes. So see, that's smart business,
Mhm.
right? Is you have a keen sense for understanding, like, hey, I'm working with these two people, I'm getting great results.
Mhm.
So now, okay, this isn't an organization. How do I do more with more people in that
Mhm.
organization?
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's the evolution of kind of where you've come from to now, and everyone that you talk to, I know you're getting all into your email community, right?
Mhm.
Like you
Mhm.
get everyone in
Mhm.
there, and they become a
Absolutely.
part of that system.
Absolutely. And even if people decide to unsubscribe, I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. I remember the first time someone unsubscribed from my newsletter, it just felt like someone had just stabbed me in the heart.
Yeah.
and and I was able to kind of talk myself off the ledge, and that's one person. My unsubscribe rate is about 1%, and I think the average is about 10%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I always look at the glass as half full. So I may not have 1,001, but I still got 1,000 to work with.
Absolutely. One thing I want to note is that, like you came from media and broadcasting 25 years, right? A lot of experience, expertise, connections, contacts, etc. A lot of people come into coaching and, they might get out of an area if like that because just whether they're burnt out, they're done, they want something different, a lot of different reasons, whatever their path's been. But at the end of the day, they're really great. Like you're really great at what you have done in that space. And that's where your network really has lied. And I just want to note for people to notice is like you said, pretty much all your clients have come from that space. And you're starting to branch out like the dentist piece, et cetera. But and that will happen over time. Yet the majority of the people will always come from that base. And that's a big thing to understand is, honoring where you've come from, honoring your network, and kind of being able to lean into that a little bit more. So I know those are a few things we talked about there is, some of the, even your free offer in the beginning, I remember it was vague, like it was powerful, but it didn't, target a certain demographic. And I'm like, well, what about media and broadcasting? Like, and even your webinar topics, et cetera. And when you started leaning into those topics, I felt like that's where you really started to getting more traction and more exposure.
It is. And I tried to run away from that background.
Yes.
When I initially started my coaching business, I was so over media and I wanted nothing to do with it. I just wanted to focus on executives in other industries, whether it be nonprofit, for profit, but I didn't want anything to do with media. But after talking to you and working through that, I had to realize that this is what I know, which is a good thing. See, I always looked at it like, this is all that I know. But then a light bulb went off. Well, this is what I know. I know the pain points. I know the hurdles and the obstacles that people are facing in this industry. And I have had to work through some of them myself, to be quite honest, to get where I'm at. So let me lean into this demographic and really engage with them and connect with them on a level that I actually couldn't do before. When I was a leader, there are certain things that I just was not able to share with people. But now I have that freedom to do that. And to the career advice. Most people come to me for career advice. And how do I get this opportunity? How do I negotiate a contract? And again, where the coaching comes in is first and foremost helping people realize that they have value and that they deserve these opportunities, and helping them overcome imposter syndrome and low self-esteem and low confidence to get them to the point where they are able to advocate for themselves and negotiate for themselves better.
Yes. And like you said, so many people like yourself run away from that space. They're like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm resigning. And I'm so done with that space. Yet that's where, like, like you said, you worked your way up that ladder to a high level position, great income earner. People see you through that lenses. And so now it's in this space, they still see you through that lens. And so it's capitalizing, and it's still coaching, even though people are coming to you for career advice and you're doing some mentoring in there as well. Some people say like, oh, but it's not coaching and I'm not supposed to say this. It's like, you can still mentor them and consult and weave coaching all the way in there.
Right. And that's what I do. I consider my approach to coaching to be somewhat of a hybrid approach. Absolutely. Where it is coaching, consulting, and mentoring.
Yeah. And if that's the thing that gives them a tangible outcome that allows them to hire you, because I'm going to hire you for career advice and thoughts, I'm going to work through X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to come up with a strategic plan and this coaching along the way. Great. Not only they going to pay more because you're coming with all that expertise, but it's a clear objective of what they're going to get from an outcome. And you get to do what you love, what you're great at, and you get to coach. And you get paid.
Exactly. Win, win, win.
And this is only the beginning. Like, you're so at the beginning of this huge trajectory. So excited for you. As we wrap this up, kind of what advice do you have now from someone who's been in it, let's just call it, close to 2 years, in this space on their own, right? Now, this is now your primary and sole income. What do you have for thoughts or advice for someone who's kind of where you were a year and a half, 2 years ago, starting off?
I've always said this, even when I was in my coach training program. I believe that it is easier to sell something that you have experienced yourself. I think it is crucial that a coach has a coach, especially when it comes to developing the business aspect, because many people are coming from backgrounds where they've not dived into entrepreneurship. I don't know where I would be right now if I hadn't hired a coach and someone who could help me create those steps. That's my best piece of advice. Invest in what you're selling. Believe it or not, I have clients who ask me, well, have you ever been coached? Do you have a coach? And I say yes. And so they're like, oh, well, if the coach has a coach, there must be something to this. And so that would be my biggest piece of advice. Make the investment into yourself, make the investment into your business, and work with a coach.
Yeah. And I echo that, right? And not just because I do that now, but like I wouldn't be where I'm at today had I not have my mentors and coaches along the way. And it's understanding at this point too, for our business, to me, it's understanding where are the gaps? What do I really need to work and get better at? And who's the person or people that can help me fill in those gaps and those skill sets where I can work on those things. Absolutely. That's such a big component. So now I can dial it in and get tangible results.
Absolutely.
And that's what you've been able to do.
It is. I've already made back 3 or 4 times the investment that I made working with you.
Absolutely. Renee, I gotta say, thank you for everything. I look forward to where this journey goes and the work we can still potentially do as moving down the road. Most importantly, though, thank you for the trust. Thank you for being a kick-ass worker, someone who's not just going through the motions, but someone who's showing up every single week, like I said, with an agenda and here's what I'm doing on, and really taking that information and absorbing it and practicing it. That's not an easy thing to do. And I just appreciate the trust you've given me and the follow through with everything. It's been awesome.
Oh, thank you. You have been such a blessing to me. And I would refer you to anyone that I know.
Thank you.
You've been amazing and a great help. And again, the knowledge and the insights that you have, having traveled this journey at some point yourself, they're just invaluable. I was clueless. I didn't know. I had no idea what I was doing until I started working with you.
And now you are fully clued in, right?
Exactly.
You definitely are. Yeah. I've seen it in just the way the topics you'd bring and the way you'd talk about them. I could tell oh, she's getting it. She's starting to see things the way, not that they need to be seen, but in some ways, we need to see things. It's a totally different space than being an employee or being in, outside of this entrepreneurial journey.
Right. And, I will add this too, because this was something that I had struggled with. You remember selling. I was like, I don't want to come across like a sleazy sales guy or a sleazy saleswoman, the used car salesman. If anyone sells cars, my bad. But that's not how I wanted to come across, because I had some experiences where it just felt like people weren't really generally interested in me. It was just getting me to say yes to whatever it was that they were selling. And so I used to struggle with that. And then I realized, with some help from you as well, is that it's really advocating for the value that I bring. And that's something that I've done my entire career. So no matter what your background is in, if you've ever gotten a promotion, if you've ever leveled up in your career, it was because you advocated for yourself and you made it known the value that you bring. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to getting coaching clients.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great way, a great distinction and a reframe of how we can look at that. Yeah. So Renee, thank you so much. Thank you for everyone that's watching this. We'll watch the recording, etc. And we'll be back as always with lots more stories and lots great education to help you on your full-time journey. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.